What if everything you thought you knew about aging was missing one powerful truth? What if one simple private act, something often dismissed or buried in silence, could actually be the key to restoring your health, your confidence, even your sense of being alive? Let me tell you a story. A 74-year-old man once sat quietly across the table, hands shaking not from illness but from shame. He looked up and said, "I didn't know I was hurting myself." For decades, he did what millions of men do in silence. But no one ever told him the rules had changed. That after 60, what used to be harmless could quietly begin to steal strength from your body, your heart, your mind. Most men never get this conversation, and that silence can cost them more than they know. That's why today we're revealing 5 masturbation truths older men wish they had known sooner. These aren't myths. They're hard-won insights from real lives, real regrets, and real transformations. So before you assume this doesn't matter anymore, stay with me, because the very last secret might just change the way you age, the way you connect, the way you live. Secret 1: your erection is no longer the whole story. And that's not just okay, it's actually a sign of evolution. I want you to imagine this moment. A 72-year-old man sat in my office, his voice tight with frustration. "Doc," he said, "I can't do what I used to do. Does that mean I'm no longer a man?" That question cuts deep. Because it's not just his story. It's the quiet fear of millions of older men that a softer erection means a weaker identity. That changes in the bedroom mean something is broken, something is lost. But here's the truth I need you to hear clearly and without shame. This is not failure. This is not the end. This is nature inviting you to adapt and to rediscover something even more meaningful. You see, with age, your body shifts. Blood flow slows. Testosterone levels fluctuate. Nerves respond more slowly. What used to happen automatically now takes time, care, and intention. But that doesn't mean your sexuality is over. It means you now have the chance to deepen it. You grew up in a world that equated manhood with performance, with stamina, with strength. But no one ever pulled you aside to say, "Hey, connection still matters. Pleasure still matters. And you don't need a perfect erection to have either." In fact, I've had patients who went years believing something was wrong with them, all because no one told them the truth. That orgasm and erection are not the same thing. You can still feel powerful release. You can still experience intimacy, closeness, satisfaction. You just might need to let go of the old measuring stick and embrace a new kind of experience, one that values patience over pressure, presence over performance, permission to feel, to change, to grow. Because when you stop chasing the version of yourself from 30 years ago and start meeting the version of yourself today, that's where real confidence lives. I've watched men transform, not because their body magically went back in time, but because they finally understood they were still whole, still capable, still men in every way that matters. This secret, more than any other, lays the foundation for everything that comes after. It's the first step in reclaiming your identity, not by denying aging, but by embracing your evolution. So let me ask you, are you willing to redefine what it means to feel alive? To connect, not just physically, but emotionally, soulfully? If you are, you're about to unlock a level of strength you didn't even know you had. Secret 2: masturbation isn't just sexual, it's emotional, it's neurological. And for many older adults, it's a lifeline they don't even realize they need. Let's break something wide open here. Masturbation is not dirty. It's not shameful. It's not something to outgrow or abandon with age. In fact, for men over 60, and women too, It can be one of the most powerful tools for maintaining physical health, mental clarity, and emotional balance. Here's what I've seen time and again in my practice. When someone stops engaging in self-pleasure, it's rarely about desire disappearing. It's about fear, guilt, discomfort with a body that's changing, or simply, no one ever told them that it's still important. But the truth is, masturbation activates a series of neurological and physiological benefits that are crucial, especially in later life. First, it boosts dopamine. That's the brain's feel-good chemical. It gives you pleasure, motivation, a sense of joy, and aliveness. And for older adults facing loneliness or isolation, even just once a week can be enough to lift mood and restore emotional balance. Second, it improves circulation. Erections, even partial ones, keep blood flowing to the penis. And that matters, because your body is designed on a use it or lose it principle. If you're not activating that system over time, it weakens. Tissues degrade. Nerve response dulls. And soon, even when you want to respond, the signal just isn't getting through. But there's more. Self-pleasure also supports healthy sleep. It reduces stress. It strengthens the pelvic floor, which can improve bladder control and core strength. It even helps regulate your immune system. Yes, your immune system. Studies have shown that regular sexual activity, including solo activity, boosts immunoglobulins, the proteins that help your body fight illness. And here's the thing. This isn't about fantasy or addiction. It's about reconnection. Touch is healing. Touch reminds your nervous system that you are still alive, that you are still worthy of sensation, of pleasure, of being in your own skin. Now, if it's been a while, you might feel awkward. That's okay. This isn't about performance. It's about permission. Start slow. Be curious. Use breath. Use mindfulness. You're not chasing a climax, you're reclaiming your relationship with your body. Because when you allow yourself this kind of connection, you send a powerful message to your brain, your heart, your cells: I am not done. I am not broken. I am still here, and I still matter. Secret 3. The real reason your sensitivity has changed, and how to reawaken it. Let's be honest, if you're over 60 and things just don't feel the same anymore, you're not imagining it. Your body is different, your hormones are different, your nervous system responds differently. But what most people don't realize is, the real problem isn't just physical, it's neurological. See, your brain is incredibly adaptive. It learns fast. And over time, it rewires itself based on what you repeatedly do. So if you've been using the same routine, the same grip, the same environment, the same screen, your brain starts to associate arousal with that exact setup and nothing else. Here's what that means. You might notice you need more and more stimulation just to feel the same effect. You might find it harder to get fully aroused without a certain kind of pressure or pattern. You might feel disconnected from a partner or even from yourself. And what once felt spontaneous now feels frustrating. This is where many older adults give up. They think something is broken, but it's not. It's just conditioning. And the good news? You can rewire it. It starts by changing the script. Shift the way you connect with your body. Slow things down. Let go of finishing as the goal. Focus on sensation, on breath, on presence. Try different types of touch. Use your non-dominant hand. Change the environment, maybe soft lighting, maybe music, maybe no stimulation at all, except your own awareness. The idea here is this: you're teaching your brain that arousal is flexible. That pleasure doesn't have to look one specific way, that you are still capable of feeling, deeply, fully, beautifully. Now, this might take time. Be patient. Be kind to yourself. Because what you're doing is powerful. You're reclaiming a part of you that might have gone quiet. And in doing so, you're not just restoring sensitivity. You're rebuilding confidence. You're reconnecting with your identity. You're reminding your nervous system, I am still alive in this body. I am still capable of joy. Secret 4. The link between intimacy and longevity. And why ignoring this connection could quietly shorten your life. What if I told you that maintaining a healthy sex life in your later years doesn't just make you feel good, it may actually help you live longer? I'm not exaggerating. There's mounting evidence that regular healthy sexual activity is linked to stronger immunity, better heart health, sharper brain function, and even a reduced risk of early death. Why? Because intimacy, especially when it's emotionally connected, does something powerful inside the body. It reduces cortisol, your stress hormone. It releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone. It boosts dopamine and endorphins, making you feel more alive, more engaged, more optimistic. And all of this leads to better sleep, lower blood pressure, less inflammation. In other words, intimacy isn't a luxury. It's a biological need. Now here's the tricky part. Many older adults start pulling away from intimacy, not because they don't want it, but because they feel embarrassed, or they worry or they think I'm too old for this. But the truth is, it's never too late. Not if you redefine what intimacy means. Maybe it's not about performance. Maybe it's about connection. Maybe it's about laughter, touch, curiosity, and being fully present in the moment. And if you're single, don't assume this doesn't apply to you. Self-pleasure, when approached with intention and care, carries many of the same benefits. It's not just about release. It's about reconnecting with your body, honoring your needs, and affirming your vitality. So if you've been quietly wondering, is this part of my life over? No. It's still yours. And nurturing it could be one of the most healing things you do, not just for your body, but for your spirit. Secret 5. The hidden brain trick that can reignite your desire. No medication required. Here's something they don't teach you in most clinics or doctor's offices. Your brain is wired to respond to patterns. And when it comes to desire, stimulation, and pleasure, it learns incredibly fast. If you've been relying on the same exact routine, same environment, same device, same position, your brain begins to associate arousal with that specific context. And over time, that narrow pattern becomes the only one that works. It's like a groove in a record. At first, the song plays beautifully, but as you keep replaying it over and over, the needle wears down the groove, and eventually you start losing the music. That's what happens when your brain is overstimulated by the same visual, the same motion, the same script. It becomes less sensitive, and that means your body doesn't respond the way it used to. You might need more intensity, more time, more effort, just to get the same feeling. And here's where it gets worse. When you try to be with a real partner, or even just connect with yourself in a different way, it feels unfamiliar, too slow, too quiet, too real. That's when people start pulling back. They avoid intimacy, not out of disinterest, but because their brain has been conditioned to only respond to one specific loop. A loop that doesn't exist in real life. But there's hope, and it starts by gently retraining your brain, by stepping away from rigid routines, by giving yourself permission to rediscover what actually feels good physically, emotionally, and mentally. Try changing your environment. Use your imagination. Focus on sensation, not just visuals. Experiment with rhythm breath presence. You're not broken. You're just out of balance, and that balance can be restored. Even small changes can make a big difference. Because when you break the loop, you give your brain a chance to wake up again, to rewire itself, to experience intimacy and pleasure with greater depth, warmth, and meaning. And the best part, this kind of healing doesn't require prescriptions, just curiosity, patience, and a willingness to reconnect with your own body on your own terms. So now you know the truth. Masturbation in later life isn't shameful. It's not dirty. It's not a sign of weakness. It's medicine for your heart, for your brain, for your hormones, and for your identity. Ignoring this part of yourself is like closing the door on a room filled with light and choosing to sit in the dark. But you don't have to. You can reclaim your body. You can reignite your passion. You can feel alive again at any age. You don't need permission. You only need awareness and the courage to step back into yourself with compassion, not judgment. If this message resonated with you, if you felt seen, understood, or even just a little more hopeful, then don't keep it to yourself. Hit the subscribe button right now because we're not done. This channel is a safe space for truth healing and the kind of advice no one else is willing to say out loud. We're building a movement, one where aging doesn't mean disappearing. And I want you in it. Leave a comment below. Type "I'm back" if you're ready to take control of your health and happiness again. Type "Still learning" if you're just beginning this journey. No matter where you are, your voice matters here. You belong here. And this is just the beginning.